Okay, we're here.
We made it.
We did. All right. Hello, everyone. Yeah, we're a little bit late. Sorry about that. Operator error, but we're here. All right. Okay. Boy, welcome to our Galactic updates. Welcome to Ascension Gateway, everyone. I am your host, Sharon Sananda Kumara, and I have my friends here, our experiencers, Cosmic Andy and Diane Q, which we like the letter Q. And we were just talking about the letter Q. So we're here to share our experiences and what we know in our world that we want to share in the outer world, right?
Absolutely. It's an exciting time to be alive as always, and I'm grateful to be here with both of you again in the audience and the group, and just anchor in some more high vibe thoughts and heart centered thoughts, and basically this full moon is already bringing in all kinds of energy. So yeah, what a great time to be here.
Really. Definitely. Yeah, it's got a lot going on. And so that Diane, say hello.
Hello. Hey, Andy, we missed you at the gathering.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend, but
You're forgiven.
So were a few participants. They wanted to see you.
Oh, it didn't work out. I had every intention of going, and then teenagers and kids and stuff came up last minute. But I plan to be on the next one. So,
there was a gentleman there named Corey that was on the show was in the audience of the show last time, and he was hoping to meet you. So hopefully he'll come to the next one.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I had every intention.
You don't have to apologize at all. So,
yeah.
But it was a good group. We had a nice big group, and so we talked a lot about good stuff.
Did you notice? As soon as you shut that door and came back and sat down, the dragons moved in on the right side.
Oh no! Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I don't doubt it.
Unbelievable. There must have been 4 or 5. They just shuffled in and went behind you and me and just kind of all just sat around.
Yeah. So people, if you're anybody watching, if you're local, we do have an experiencers group where we meet about once a month locally in Beaverton. If you want to share experiences in the Beaverton, outer Portland area. So, it's where you can share your experiences in a safe space. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah. And hello, Christine. Good to see you here. Hey, let's talk about what's going on in the world right now with, there was a big announcement today. I feel it was a big announcement with Anna Luna and Anna Paulina Luna, where she's going to be head of an oversight committee I'm just going to call it transparency. I hope that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be her and her committee is going to be diving into lots of, let me see, I wrote it down here. Well, the JFK, RFK, and MLK files, UAP and USO disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. I just feel it. We've talked about that we've talked about it being this year or next year, right? I actually wrote down what our people in the audience and what we said where we felt it was coming. And so we'll pull that out.
I thought most of the collaboration was like April
of this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Most everybody thought April
of this year. Okay.
Yeah, I think you did too. I'm not sure. I think
I said March.
What if you? quite a few people were, I thought we were even thinking late February, like how rapid things were happening. And
Yeah.
there's also, the big Hindu festival is happening, the planets aligning, the full moon, like the full moon is going into Leo, right?
Chinese, yeah, Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year, all the things. And then I remember I said something about August, because I always feel like every August there's a big surge. And I think, anyway, but yeah, it's coming. It's coming. When we talked last, I had some different experiences that I wanted to share there.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see this in the public on the big stage. We're actually seeing people openly talking about it. We've gotten to this point where having investigations. So hopefully we get the full story and not some sanitized version,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're even going to, according to this, what she said, investigate and release the Epstein list.
Yeah.
9/11, what happened in 9/11, and COVID origins. So that's pretty exciting. And I do have the list here. I did say early 2025. Andy, you said August 2025. Diane, you have after the first 100 days. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Christine has July.
That'd be March. Yeah, that'd be March.
Yeah.
Or that'd be April. Yeah, April.
Christine has July 4th. Nicole, you want to take a guess when we're going to have full disclosure
of UFO and a few other things?
Yeah, just disclosure. Mark, I have on here too for March 2026. So that I thought that was exciting today to hear that. We've got a lot going on that front. And what do you peeps think about the Doge audits?
I feel like even if, because I know there's a lot of pushback right now. First off, I think they're great. The transparency is good. We all know that there's money been laundered, being kickbacks, not going to where it's actually supposed to be going, let alone being horribly mismanaged and overspent. The whole, a hammer should cost $15. Why did it cost $1,500 for one hammer? That type of stuff that we saw out of the Gulf War and all those things. Those same things happen every day in different programs. So then we're seeing now the USAID and how much of it was essentially kickbacks to NGOs, to manipulate one way or another different things and to put out certain agendas and all the different things that are out there. So I'm really excited about it. We'll see. I know there's a lot of pushback, and maybe some of it. The whole question is Congress is the one that's supposed to be doing the funding and cutting and doing the budget as part of the Constitution, but it seems like both sides, for a long time, both sides of both wings of the same bird in terms of the Democrats and the Republicans in Congress, for a lot of times let this go through because both sides were benefiting because they were, again, part of the same kind of negative groups that were just open to laundering and bad intentions and mismanagement of taxpayer funds. So it's going to be really interesting. Every time I see another thing that came out that they just stopped the $59 million going to pay for high-end hotels for illegals in downtown New York, like $500 a night. Heck, when I go to a hotel, I don't stay at a $500 a night hotel. Why would the government be paying for that? Doesn't make sense.
We're paying for it. We pay for it.
Yeah.
Taxpayers pay for that. We pay for that. Yeah.
My favorite was the amount of money that I think it was $1 million for the drag queen in Ecuador. Now that really enthused me. I was thinking about getting on a plane and going to see that. Yeah,
there was a lot of them like that, but yeah, as they started bringing all that out, it pissed me off so much because I've been paying taxes for probably longer than a lot of people have been alive here, and it's just to see what my tax dollars have gone to is I'm like, I'm not paying taxes anymore. I'm not filing a tax return. I want my money back for at least 20 years or something. And it's just so disgusting. Um, and I saw some of what Musk said today when he talked about the Treasury Department cutting checks, blank checks.
Mm.
Yeah.
They couldn't even trace them. They don't even say. And I've been in accounting in all my life, and in the corporate world. It how can the fraud is just mind numbing. How you
Yep.
can put out a payment and you don't even code where it goes to or who it goes to. The fraud is just mind blowing.
There's no way to even track them. That's what he said. And the other
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
I thought was interesting was the fact that these people make $180,000 a year. They're living in mansions and they have $30,000 in their checking account or their savings account. How did they get them? We're going to find that, he said.
You mean
Go.
30 million?
30 million. Yeah, 30 million.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, it's
oh, you gotta be
he
kidding.
named he named just recently named four people. 4 people he named that Nancy Pelosi, annual salary $223,000, net worth $202 million. Chuck Schumer, annual and $210,000, net worth $75 million. That's kind of low for all the rest of these. Mitch McConnell, $95 million. Elizabeth Warren, net worth $67 million, annual salary $205 million.
Who they didn't mention was Maxine Waters. Now that's a huge bank fraud right there. And she's always said, you can't go after me because it's bigotry and it's racist. So they leave her alone.
Yeah.
She's the biggest crook there because of the banking system. It's huge.
It's just fun to watch the all the lid being blown off everything. So I was shown this 20 years ago, and it's fun to watch it. And I feel bad for people that can't enjoy it. We've been waiting for this for a long time. People that are awake and everything like that. But yeah, it's aggravating when you see the amount of fraud. And then also, it's a good time to celebrate, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are funny.
There's a vote on tonight to confirm Telsey.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Yeah, they'll get confirmed. So,
and didn't they say something about actually getting to audit the Fed? Let alone like the Department of Education, but the Fed's going to be like, what? They're just printing money and like paying themselves, and we're stuck with the bill.
And how are they going to do that? Because we don't legally own it. This is owned by the 13 families, the gray people, the 13 richest families in the world. So how are they going to do that? I don't know. I haven't. It's a mind-boggling thing here.
Yeah, because the Fed isn't even a government entity, is it?
No, it's owned by the 13 richest families of the world.
Well, if it's a private entity and it's corrupt, why can't they send in the Fed, military, federal police? Like take the thing over and check the books.
It was started by FDR, and that's because we needed money for the war. And that's when he started forming this. It's a trilateral commission. But if you look up the trilateral commission, they think, oh, everything is just okay. It's not.
Yeah.
I read when we were talking about the things that aren't published and things that used to happen and things that are we're seeing years and years and years ago. I got this book in the Multnomah Library, and it was about the Trilateral Commission. It was published in the early 50s, so that wasn't too far from where they were formed. And they talked about all that they had planned and all that they had done. For some reason, I can't remember. I was on a bus, which I never take the bus, and I was reading this book on my way home, and I got so angry, I almost stood up in the bus and said, "Do you know what the Trilateral Commission has done to us?" But I bit my lip, and I thought, nobody's going to know this. They took that uranium, this is just one thing that they did. They took the uranium mine in Arizona, and they told the Indians it was safe. They could put it in their home.
Wow. Yeah.
They knew that it was toxic.
Well, they've been trying to kill us for a long time.
That's just one of the things they did. I mean, I was just so outraged.
Yeah, it's just one of the things that they've done to try and wipe us off the planet.
So I went back to the library to get that book, and it is gone. Nowhere to be found. I can't get it anywhere. I've tried old bookstores, ancient bookstores, nothing. It is gone. They have.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. Yeah, Christine says no more pennies too. I know, that's good. That's a good thing. 3 cents to make a penny. That makes a lot of sense.
Wait, it's 2 cents to make a penny.
2 cents to make a penny.
Okay, if you got $1, that's $2.
So back to galactic stuff. I mean, all of this is it's all tied together, of course, because we're moving into a golden age, and we're moving into a age where we can't have any more wars and a more peaceful civilization, and we can't be part of the Galactic Federation or the bigger community, Galactic Community, if we're a warfaring world, yeah. So that's what we're moving into, is to be like a Star Trek kind of future, which is pretty cool. We've gone over that. We're on the precipice. We've actually gone over the precipice, is what I've been shown, and we're just cleaning house.
It's going to happen fast.
It is happening fast. So, Andy, I want to hear about your experiences.
Well, I'm the weather. Last week it's been a little colder and wetter, but I've just been going outside like anytime it's been clear over the course of the last month here, and I regularly say affirmations. I take a moment to, when I'm meditating, just to try to get, my heart space and really focus on gratitude, because I have, frankly, so much to be grateful for, and to be in this position and, see all the things happening in the world, and you start having, that internal memory of, I feel like I've had a lot of suppressed kind of memories coming up just from childhood, and been able to, I guess, kind of like internally connect dots a little bit, and with experiences that I've been having. And so I when I'm out outside, it's really easy to do that, just out in nature, even in my backyard, looking up at night. And the moment I get into that heart space, and then I put my intention out and start sending love, not only to myself, to all aspects of myself, past, present, and future, and then to intentionally send love into the earth, Mother Earth. And then I look up and I send love out into the universe. And usually when I do that, all of a sudden there's like power up, power up, power up. So I see like shifts that are, I didn't even necessarily see before, but they're up there cloaked, or, I don't even know if they're dimensionally cloaked, or if didn't have lights on, and all of a sudden there's a flashes, and so I feel like I'm getting a lot of validation just going outside and seeing things. But I would also say I've had a lot of interesting dreams where I don't oftentimes remember a dream like every night. I think part of that is I get up early for work and my alarm goes off, and it's just kind of like I jump out of bed and start going. Whereas a lot of times when I remember a dream, I kind of wake up and have a moment to think about it, But I have had a number of dreams come up, and specifically, I mentioned this before, the dragons. It was funny you say at the gathering you had everybody's dragons come in, because I've been having dragons come all around me every time I'm shutting my eyes, to the point like I sent you guys that text the other night of a dragon activation I came across that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my ears were ringing. I shut
felt
my
that.
eyes and I was on the back of that dragon going. And then we went through like multiple, like we were going up in the dimensions and I could feel like the waves of energy and I was getting lighter and lighter and my whole body was buzzing. And even in my my roots, like I've had like a lot of solar plexus chakra, kind of like my power center coming up, and I think things are being healed, and I think that's why I'm having a lot of past life kid memories from times when I felt, fear or sadness or all these suppressed. All of our emotions are stored in our body, and from our memories and what we've experienced. And I think with this divine energy coming in this special time, I feel like I personally am having stuff come up to be healed, and I'm really feeling it. But again, I keep having the dragons around me to the point I was sitting there. I'm like, why am I getting hot? And I had like a moment where I felt like I was just getting dragon, like not fire, but kind of like fire, like blown on me. Like I could tangibly feel like I was getting hot when I was connecting to this energy. But it was also very a divine energy, and I think it's kind of activating us. I think we're going through a change. Like I said, I've said this before. I think our, using 10% of our brain, I think we're going to start using 11%, 12%. I think we're coming online on different levels with our multi-dimensional higher soul aspects are coming in. And as I'm realizing that connection, I'm like, whoa, we are powerful. Wow, we are connected to everything, And so, that's a series of things that have happened over the last month. And so I'm at a place right now where I'm feeling really blessed, and I've had a lot of good things happening in my life. And so I'm grateful to be here with you ladies again and be able to talk about this stuff, because it really it like anchors in that, like, it really this is really happening. Do you know what I mean? If something happens and you see it and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you move on to the next thing, it's like being able to talk about it. It just manifests it even more into reality that, this is this blessed golden age that has begun, and we get to be a part of it.
I know, it's exciting, and you're right, it anchors it in. When we share it, we're able to share with others. And also I think it triggers memories for other people when we share our experiences too. And that's really cool. As you're mentioning that, it helped me to remember that lately I've been feeling a lot of tingling and warmth in my solar plexus in different times. So I'm being worked on apparently there in that area too. When I'm relaxed.
I'm having yellows and golds come in. Yellows and golds. And I don't know if it's because it's the golden timeline, but then I was also like the solar plexus a lot of times is that yellow kind of gold, amber energy. And sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah. It's so that makes total sense, because we're moving into the golden age. The Satya Yuga. So exciting. Now, Diane, you shared that you were being chased by bad aliens and ended up in Alcyon or something like that.
Yeah. I was at a meeting with a bunch of people, and I don't know who it was. It was kind of a high-powered meeting. I don't know what it was about. All I just remember is that everybody had to leave instantly, and I was put in with a bunch of people in this spaceship. And then all of a sudden, somebody said, "We've got to get out of here. They're after us. They know we're here." They moved me to another planet and another spaceship. And then they said, "Oh, they found us. We've got to move again." We moved 3 times, and they finally took me to Alcyon, where the Ascended Masters live, the Garden of the Dove. And they said, "Now you're safe. You're okay." And I tried to write it down, because when I woke up, I thought, there are parts I can't remember. And I tried to write it down as much as I possibly could, and I just can't remember it, other than the details of the spaceship, the details of the people. But I didn't recognize these people.
Were they human?
Yes.
Did you have anything on your arm? Like left arm, right arm on your wrist? Anything you
I
noticed?
tried to see if there was anything different about me, but I couldn't. I just, all I know that I was at this meeting and we were talking about something going on, something that we were to do. They didn't want the other side knowing it. But that's where I got shoved into this spaceship and they said, we have to get out of here. They know where we are.
Hmm.
Now, I don't even know who they were because they didn't tell me and I never saw them.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that it was the other side. And there was a lot of fighting going on.
Yeah, you must have been on another part of the galaxy, because I understand that the baddies are
Yeah.
not in this part of the galaxy any longer.
Yeah,
So you must have
they
been
moved them
way
out.
out there, or a different timeline or something.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
It-
That's why I ended up in the
Pleiades, yeah,
and Alcyone. So
Halcyon. Interesting.
so, so it's kind of interesting. Actually, I don't remember my dreams every single night. I kind of mentioned that, but my wife and my kids do, frankly, a lot more than I do. And so it's just like a normal, like, anybody have any dreams last night? You know, just to see what people remember. And my daughter had a dream on Friday night, so this past Friday night, and so she was telling me about it Saturday morning, and she couldn't really articulate a lot of it, but she said it was very like space age, and she was in like a very sanitized environment. There was a long hallway, and there was somebody trying to get them, and then it was weird because the person she was with looked a little different, and they had this glowing thing on their wrist that, like, in order to go through the door, they had to like put it up to the wrist, almost like a scanner or something, like could open the door, and they were running from somebody. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then that's all she remembered. But she was like, it was very space age, like, futuristic is what she kept saying. I'm like, okay, well, interesting. It is. You have a dream, whatever. Maybe you stayed up too late. Maybe you had too much food, like it could be anything, right? But then the next night, Saturday night, so then Sunday morning, my wife tells me, whoa, I had the weirdest dream. And she remembered a lot more detail. And in this particular dream, have you guys ever seen the movie Up?
Yeah,
It's
the
like
cartoon.
the cartoon. And
Yeah.
in that movie, there's like the chubby little kid that's with the backpack. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like, she said there was this little kid and she was like somewhere and everything was like darker and it was like a tunnel. And there was this kid, the chubby little kid that she was going to try to help. And then she said that she like knew that like they were like shapeshifters and they weren't showing themselves what they actually look like, that were trying to get this kid and she was trying to stop them. And she said one of these shapeshifter guys looked like Paul Reiser. She's like, I know that's random,
actor?
but the actor, but that's what he looked like, with like, but a little bit longer curly hair, but he was like super serious. His eyes look really dark. And so she's trying to run over, it's a dream. She said it's jumping around, but she's trying to get to this kid. And before she knows it, they get to the kid and they kill the kid.
Ooh.
And she's like unbelievably like sad and distressed by what's happened. And she goes to look at the guy to like hit him, and he morphs into like a reptilian type being. And she still is so mad, she literally grabs like the eyes and like rips them in half, like literally just rips him in half.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden the dream jumps and she's up on this like futuristic city, and she knows that she's being chased by these guys because somebody found out she killed the other guy and she somehow escaped. And so they're after her now. And she's in this futuristic timeline or city. And she sees like there's outdoor, like on the balcony of a building, there's an event going on. So she runs up there to try to like blend in with the people. And she said, then she realized she can shapeshift. And so she shifted from her normal self, which is my wife, a woman, into like a man. And she goes, it was really weird because he was like kind of taller and skinnier and had like an earring, because she caught a glimpse of herself once she shifted.
Uh-huh.
And then she's trying to like mingle, but she knows these things are like trying to like get to her, and somehow they can either smell her or like track her somehow. And all of a sudden they go by, and so she glances off the balcony to look to make sure they're gone, and she sees, nobody else can tell, but as they're walking down the street, they no longer look as like humans. They've morphed into like what looks like velociraptors, and they're walking down the street.
Dang.
And then she woke up, but right before she woke up, she looked down at her left arm, and she had this glowing thing on her arm, which I thought was weird because the night before, Isabel, there was a glowing thing on the arm. So that's why when she was telling her dream earlier, I'm like, was there something on your arm? Because like 2 nights in a row, my daughter, then my wife had kind of being chased, trying to do things, get away from people, and then futuristic.
Well, we kind of know your family is up doing stuff anyway because of all the things you shared already, especially during the Trump assassination attempt. You're up there on the ships watching it.
I didn't have that on my wrist, but I think that the people that I was with had them.
And I've heard people say in a lot of like the time travel stuff in the future, some of the futuristic times, you know, people have different things on their arms. It is a tool, an extension, but
yeah. I've seen those on my wrist at times. Not often. I don't normally look at what I'm wearing, but sometimes I have. So Brian, hey, well, I don't see you now, but haven't been in touch in a long time. So your question is, that's a really good question. Do you think the whole UFO phenomenon is about hybridizing the human race to be a new human? I can answer that first with my thoughts on it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. I do believe it was the plan, but I believe that plan is no longer, because I've been shown that I had children, hybrid children, and I believe that plan is no longer. I think that those beings, I'm not going to say that they're bad or good or whatever. And I believe that there's different plans in place. There were different programs in place. Some were nefarious and some weren't. But I do believe that there were nefarious hybridization plan programs in place. Now, I don't know if I was a part of that or not. It didn't feel like it, but I do believe that there's different programs, and I actually don't feel that it's going on anymore. That's my idea, my thoughts on it.
I do know that one of my teachers told me that they took some of her eggs, and one of the reasons is not for this planet. It's that one planet was dying because they didn't have enough rebirthing going on. And so that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to save this one planet. She didn't tell me which one. And, when you're a student, you don't ask a high powerful teacher what she tells you, it's like, okay.
Well, a good teacher actually welcomes questions, I think, but who knows? But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Some things I got shared with, and some things I didn't, and you just don't know what to ask and what not to ask.
Yeah, when you're new to that, you don't.
I wasn't questions. Really new.
Oh, Andy, what do you think?
I kind of think like you, Sharon. I look at this from like a few different levels. I think like the initial hybrid, like if you're talking like the gray aliens or supposedly the Zeta Reticulans or those different groups that were coming from there, maybe even like some alternate timeline humans from the future that are coming back in time to harvest, raw genetic specimens because they've gone off, and they've lost the essence of like humanity in all of their time and space and travel and genetic engineering of themselves. They actually kind of, took out of the bloodline some things they actually needed in there. And you get 10, 15, 20 generations down the line, you're like, oh, shoot, like we need to go back and get some genetic stock. So I've heard that type of a thing that like was happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just like one group. I also look at it from like the God source and the higher angelic and ascended master level, where like maybe there's quote unquote, 10th, 12th dimensional beings that are, trying to raise up the humanity. And ever since the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria and the planet falling out of tune and vibration, and maybe, they are trying to do certain, crossbreeding of certain groups and to get certain genetics so the biological vessel can contain a higher frequency soul, right? Almost like the divine Christ bloodline and Mary Magdalene bloodline and those things. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just, green men from somewhere else that are, trying to do something versus like higher godlike, dimensional beings that are, creating this. So I guess, yes, that's happened. I don't know if I don't think, I like you, Sharon, I don't think it's still happening as much as people think. So I guess
Anymore, maybe.
not as much anymore.
Yeah.
But I do think that this is like an experiment, to be learned and grown in various different ways. And so certainly we're half monkeys and half gods.
I believe we're all God, but
Yes.
but I do believe that this human body itself is divine, and we have everything we need within this body, within our DNA, and that as we ascend and as we move into this higher, this golden age, and we become the gods that we are, and bring in more light into our bodies and raise our frequency, then we light up our strands and we become the super, the super beings like you've been talking about, Andy, because you're like, when you watch the Marvel comics shows or stuff in comic books, you're like, I remember that because we are that. And so I believe that's who we truly are. So the hybridization programs, I believe that they're nefarious ones where, they might want to use this for different reasons, as a slave race or something like that, could be, and maybe to lighten us up. But I believe that we have everything we need already within this divine body. So we don't need any help. We just need to help ourselves. That's my take on it. Now, I did see my kids and my grandchild. I saw a grandchild, but I don't believe that they're going to be out here on the earth, to be honest with you. I might see them on the ships. I don't know.
Well, hi, Ziftar. Ziftar, do you live near us in Portland area? And the reason I ask is because Sharon has this great get together in the building that she has her office in. And it's a great get together. We just talk about different things and we learn things. I always learn things.
Me too.
We always learn from each other. I have to share that I did have an experience since we met last, where I was in a ship, and I was in a two-seater ship, and I was the passenger. I wasn't the one driving this time. Usually I fly my own ship. I take that back. Not usually, sometimes. And I was in a two-seater, and it was just as real as can be. But I didn't have any recall of where I was going, where I was. It felt like I was on Earth, flying over Earth, because I was looking down at landscape that looked like Earth, and it was extremely real. So,
Yeah.
I wish I want to bring back more recall of where I am and where I'm going, that type of thing.
Yeah, I
To,
try to write it down and it's like blank, but as soon as Andy said the gold on the bracelet, it occurred to me that I was not the one that was wearing it was the people I was with that were trying to save me. But here's what's interesting. When I was trying to log on to tonight, I just saw this little thing that they found this ship that disappeared several years out of the ocean in the desert. And I didn't get to read it because I had to log on as fast as I possibly could.
the one that disappeared like 10 years ago?
Yeah, they found it in the desert.
So I started to watch a video on Michael Sala, and this guy has apparently a leaked video of a portal opening up and the plane flying into the portal. So apparently it was hijacked through a portal, according to him. I didn't get to see the whole video.
Not
a ship. I'm sorry. I thought you meant a plane. Okay.
No, this was a ship, a boat.
Wow. Just got picked up,
so
picked up over the ocean and dropped in the desert.
Yeah, they showed that they had recovered part of it. I hope that it's still there when I go back out of here so I can read
the ship. Oh,
but here's the thing. I get these things and I can't send them on. And I don't know why. I've tried everything I can to send them on somewhere. I've even sent them through Messenger and they don't ever make it. So I don't know how. And the websites are like, a mile long.
Yeah. So Ziftar says, I want to drive my own ship. I'm sure you are already. It's just a matter of remembering. We're trying to remember. Yeah, because we do a lot in our dream time, in our nighttime travels. So I like this.
I drive little ships like in Star Wars, the little ones,
The reptilians are losing control of this planet as the elites lose control. Yes, and I do believe that from the sources I listen to, the reptilians are no longer here. It's just that the predator class are fighting really hard because they don't want to lose control. Yeah, that's what I understand. That the tall grays, their hive queen was actually taken out. And when I heard about that, that the tall grays who kidnapped most of the people and most of the children and most of the people that made the agreement with the military industrial complex during Eisenhower's presidency to kidnap people and use them as lab rats kind of thing. They were a hive species. And so they cracked, apparently, the Galactic Federation of Planets cracked the code and were able to insert a virus into the hive and take out the queen. And when I hear that kind of stuff, it makes me think of the Borg. If anyone's a Star Trek fan, and it just makes my skin crawl because the Borg always scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, it's something about the half. It's one thing to be little green men or tall aliens or whatever, but like something about the half human, half machine is like my worst nightmare.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, I don't want any part of that.
The Borg is
that Progress commercial with the guy and the motorcycle. My husband gets so creeped out. He said, this is awful. This is scary. My husband does not get scared.
I don't know what commercial that is.
It's a Progress insurance company commercial. And the guy, it's about selling insurance to motorcyclists. Okay. And the guy is a half human, and the from the waist down
And he's also
a
like
motorcycle.
what's that, half human, half horse person?
Yeah. Well, no,
Oh.
this is like a half human, half
Motorcycle.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The half human, half horse. That was the gods trying to play with. It was they wanted the experience. That's what Pan was. He just wanted the experience and got stuck.
Yeah, that is creepy.
That's what he said. I just got stuck.
That is creepy. I could see how he would be creeped out by that.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband got really creeped out. He said, "This is just the dumbest ad. This is awful." I was like,
But anyway,
and every time he saw that.
So I understand.
So I think something to do with what Andy was talking about.
Yeah, that the reptilian, the Draco reptilian, are on the other side of the galaxy and trying to fight their way back because they have infiltrated so many planets in the Federation, which the Federation is a military organization, and they protect planets. And once we're a part of the Federation, then when we clean our act up and we can be trusted to be a part of the Federation, then we are protected from any other nefarious beings, which is pretty cool. So that's coming, I would say, probably in the next couple of years, or if not sooner, hopefully. But yeah, it's exciting.
It's very exciting. And like I said, at the pace we're going with the new administration, if things start getting disclosed, I'm like, hopefully by the next 4 years, like the Fed gets exposed, all of a sudden, like you see how much money's been lost and laundered and stolen. And I have had a dream for a long time of Trump like going to the Fed and like essentially, because we're supposedly $35 trillion in debt, or he does something where he like basically takes the money back. And so like all American, like if you have a mortgage, it gets paid off. Like if people, I don't know if they actually start sending people checks with like their old tax money, because there's an accounting of how many taxes you paid in your life, Sharon. Like we'd all be retired now. Right?
That's what I'm saying. I've been paying taxes longer than most people here have been alive. So
just give me my own money back. I'll be fine.
Right? Totally. Yeah, I don't want to pay. I'm not paying any more taxes. I'm saying it right now.
Randy, are you talking about that thing they call Nasara?
Sorry,
well, people have been saying that for years.
But I don't. It's a real
I do
thing.
think if the Fed gets open and you see that I think there was a quote last week, one of the Fed chairs, they had him basically asking like, where does actually the money come from? And he's like on tape in the interview basically acknowledging like, well, we just kind of, make zeros on a computer. It's just kind of made up monies where it's not like you're actually borrowing money from the 13 families at this point. They're just printing money. We're going into debt for it. And then they're taking like 90% of it for themselves. Like, because they're just adding zeros. And so I think if like it really does get exposed at some point, I think, I'm hoping that plays out. But I also know people have been waiting for that.
Things are going to happen. But let me tell you about Nasara. It's been around since the 90s, and where people were talking about it, and it's called the National Economic Security and Recovery Act. So it's not. It's been touted as a conspiracy theory, and all this, and how people are. But let me. This is Wikipedia, of course. They say it's a conspiracy theory, cult-like conspiracy theory. But here, let me read this. The National Economic Security and Recovery Act, NASARA, is a set of proposed economic reforms for the United States suggested during the 1990s by private citizen Harvey Francis Bernard. Bernard claimed that the proposals, which included replacing the income tax with a national sales tax, abolishing compound interest on secured loans, and returning to a bimetallic currency, would result in 0% inflation and a more stable economy. The proposals were never introduced before Congress. Since the early 2000s, NESARA has become better known as the subject of a cult-like conspiracy theory. But let me see. I want to read something else here. He was an engineering consultant, a teacher. He created the NESARA proposal during the late 1980s and early 1990s. And he printed 1,000 copies of his proposal titled, listen to this, Draining the Swamp, Monetary and Fiscal Policy Reform, and sent copies to the members of Congress, believing it would pass quickly on its merits. Based on a theory that debt is the number one economic factor inhibiting the growth of the economy, and compound interest the number one moral evil and reason for debt. Barnard made several other attempts during the 1990s to draw political attention to the problems he saw in the U.S. economy and his suggested economic recovery proposal based on the root causes he determined. After Barnard's efforts to gain political support did not succeed, he decided in 2000 to release his proposal to the public domain and published it on the internet. And that's when people started talking about it. But as we know, the deep state did not allow that to happen. And someone actually mentioned that there's a conspiracy theory that 2001, that the towers had a lot, when they came down, it had a lot to do with that was may have been was going to be unrolled or something like that. Around something like that, you know. And NESARA is national, GESARA is global.
Okay.
So it might be called something different, like the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, they may have changed the name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so it's a real thing. It was a real thing. It's not just a made up thing, a conspiracy theory kind of thing that by crazy people.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend who keeps telling me, you know, your mortgage is going to be paid off. And then she says the other day, they aren't actually going to pay your mortgage off, but they're going to take care of your credit cards. I thought, okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I just want my tax dollars back.
This is my
I want my tax money back after I saw what, you know, how that money was stolen.
Yeah. I didn't want to pay for that. I wanted roads and the military and police and fire, and other than that, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I do want, you know, public education needs to be overhauled too.
Yeah, and you know, I don't have no problem with aid, you know, sending aid to other countries to help with certain things, but not anything we don't have a say in, for one thing, and not something like what they were sending it to. So
condoms for Hamas,
for
Yeah.
Taliban.
Oh yeah,
Taliban. Yeah,
there's a bunch of stuff that went. Oh, I know. Aid to Afghanistan. Well, that's a real good one.
So did anyone see the I have a question, because speaking of dreams, I had a really strange dream this morning, and I didn't know about the Nancy Mace's talk on the Congress floor. Did anyone hear that?
I saw the blurb about her ex-boyfriend or ex-fiance tried to rape her.
Did.
That's what it said.
I watched her whole thing.
Okay. So I didn't. I just got the little blurb.
Well, I watched the whole thing, and I started bawling, crying.
Oh,
she, well, being a survivor myself, this happened a year ago or so. He was a fiance. He was her fiance. She named 4 men, including her fiance, that were drugging women and young girls, and to the point where they were passed out and raping them and videotaping it, including her. She didn't even know it. She didn't even know what, that kind of thing. But she ended up finding the tapes and the videos and things like that. So
Wow,
it's a long thing, but she went on the Congress floor, showed their pictures, named their names, all of them, and told the story of what they do, and they're all business partners together.
Wow.
I love that woman so much now. Oh my God. And she
Yeah.
has proof. And the worst part of it is she's in South Carolina. She took it to the district attorney in South Carolina, and he wouldn't take it. And he actually threatened her and told her she'll be investigated.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Well, it's a corrupt system. So she actually had to move 4 times because she was threatened and all that, blah, blah, blah. So it's just a horrible story. So she had Anna Luna behind her and Lauren Boebert behind her for support. But she's passing all these bills to protect women. Oh, and they're voyeurs too. They would just really creepy stuff, videotape women and girls and stuff, without their knowledge and things like that. Just horrible, horrible things. Yeah, P. Diddy time, exactly. But anyway, my dream this morning, has anyone been dreaming or seeing things of the future a lot more? Because I know I have. Future precog
I had a
dreams.
dream of something that was going to happen the other day, and I can't remember it now what it was. I wrote it down.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of precog dreams, or it seems to be a lot of dreams for me anyway. Precog instances where I thought it was so weird I'm like, where did that come from? Anyway, I was all bruised in the lower part of my body in this dream, but it felt like a dream, not a dream, but I was all bruised. Really, how you have contusions that are they're not black and blue, they're like yellow and green and that kind of thing. My whole body had those types of bruises down that part of my body. And it was really weird and disturbing. And then I saw that video a little while later, or not, of her talking on the floor, and I realized, oh, that was prophetic dreams. Thank you, Nicole. I needed to see that something, because I was just crying and crying with it. It's something that I need to release, and not only that, but for the collective of women.
Oh yeah, get the word out as fast as you can.
For the collective of women to help women who have been raped and hurt.
Is that I think they thought when they did
heal
this trans thing with men in the bathrooms and the locker rooms and everything else, I think men thought, wow, we can do pretty much anything we want to now. That was their attitude. And I believe because Trump said women first, we are going to protect women. I think a lot of this is going to come out now, Sharon. This is your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's all women's time. It's all everyone. And she's working, and I applaud her because she's working to keep women safe, especially in South Carolina, because she represents South Carolina. And she put as she was talking, she said, all women stay away from these men because they drug you. She had 2 vodka cocktails and she was passed out. And I had that happen to me one time when in my younger party days. And, I'm surprised I'm alive sometimes, some of the things I did, but she passed out. She says she's never blacked out. And Nicole says she woke up once with bruises on my trunk and thighs and had nausea all that day. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just for her to stand there and she talked for about an hour, and it was pretty amazing, disturbing and amazing. And of course, they're all denying it, blah blah blah, But she's got proof. She has them on video.
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. It's definitely this is coming up to be healed and to be exposed and have light shined on it, and obviously, so yeah. I think that's a big part of this transition that's happening on the
awakening.
Planet. Awakening is
definitely
having to clear and heal, but also the divine feminine coming in to and frankly, I think the divine masculine needs to come in, because there's been a lot of toxic masculine for a long time, right?
Totally.
And so we need to kind of meet where and support each other in the most harmonious and beautiful way. And again, things need to come up for clearing and healing and exposure. That way, the people who've been perpetuating these type of things get called out for who they are and are held accountable. And
right. Yeah, I know. It's when I got struck by lightning, pretty much during the solar eclipse, the Great American Eclipse in 2017, and I changed my mind on Trump. Well, the eclipse changed my mind for me. I got this huge download that him being here was a catalyst for bringing in the divine. I just saw the divine feminine, for healing the divine feminine, whether good or bad or whatever. I didn't even know anything about Trump at that time. And then I started doing research and everything. But yeah, that's the first thing I got.
Are you serious? So that was in 2017 that happened for you? Because he'd won in 2016.
Right. I didn't vote for him.
I didn't vote for him the first time. I was lifelong Democrats. My parents were Union people. We voted blue, as solid as you could vote blue. Most of my family, in spite of my best efforts, still is on that side of the coin, and still, frankly, pretty asleep in the matrix. A lot of them, they're good people, but there's a lot of wounds. I think there's a lot of shadow that they don't want to face, frankly. Mm-hmm. But anyway, long story short, I had been going up to ECETI, as you know, since 2016, and I hadn't voted for Trump, and people up there were talking about it. I was like, geez, I don't know. Like, it was definitely all the UFO stuff, but I was so hard blue that it was hard for me. And I think I've told this story before, where I had a very vivid dream, essentially higher dimensional experience, where I didn't know where I was. I was in another realm. It felt like I was up at a higher level. I don't know if I was on a ship. I'm standing there, and in a long line, just a huge line of people, and there's a really big guy in front of me, and so all I'm seeing is just like standing there in a tight line, like at Disneyland or something, and there's a big guy in front of me, so I can't really see what we're waiting in line for, and I go to turn my head, and I can't really turn my head right or left. Everything's just kind of grayed out or black, so I'm just looking, but in the distance, I can see a light far in the distance. And then next thing you know, it's a dream, time goes quick. All of a sudden, like, we're at the front of the line, and the guy in front of me steps to the side, and there's Trump standing right there with two security guards on either side of him. And I look right at him, and I'm like, holy shit. And I don't know what to say. He puts out his hand to shake my hand. So I go in to shake his hand, and then we kind of do like a bro hug, like shake hand, like kind of pat each other on the back, a little hug thing. And this is what was so crazy and vivid. I remembered smelling his cologne and thinking, oh, he smells good. Like, it was so vivid. Like I smelled him as I hugged him. And as we kind of backed out, all I could think to say is, the people are with you. And he got a big smile on his face. And I took one step back, and then literally this light glowed behind him. And then all of a sudden I was like going away from him. And I had this moment where I was like, is he an angel? Are the angels with them? Because like the way it glowed behind him. And from that point on, I've been a Trump supporter. And that happened for me in 2017. And so I'm wondering if I could remember, had written down the exact date, I'm wondering if it's that same eclipse where we got activated to that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because you saying that makes me realize that it was 2017 I had that experience, and it wasn't anybody that convinced me this way or that way. It was only because I was out of body. I knew it was real. I remembered it the moment I woke up. It's like, holy shit, I met Trump. and I've told this story probably 10 different times over the last, ever since then, all the way to 2020, thinking, he was going to win. And then the whole shenanigans that took place and all the stuff that happened since. And I've stayed true to it. I mean, I have family relationships that have never been the same because I've supported Trump, and I've now realized and see what this has all been about. And so I really do feel like this is one, just good for the humanity in our country, but two, like a little bit of a personal vindication, because I've had to go into the lion's den of my own family and be the one who was always on their side. And now I'm saying things they don't want to hear and bringing up points they want to know and looking at things we never really looked at. And so anyway, it's an exciting time. But yeah, 2017, that's when I started fully supporting Trump.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Tar, you're safe here.
Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Yeah. And let's see here. You made it. Yay.
I will say
Trump is the one and only president is not related to other past presidents. He's considered a prophecy. Yes. I did know that he was not related to the other presidents.
On the website of Ramtha, when he was first elected, when his plane took off from New York to go to Washington, D.C. for the first time, there was a spaceship that was following him.
Yep.
It was a safe spaceship that they were following him because they wanted him to be protected, and it followed him all the way. And he is so protected. They don't have.
Well, we saw that at Butler, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. But this was when he was first elected in 2016, when he was first leaving New York to go to Washington, D.C. on Air Force One.
I agree, Ziftar. He's the catalyst for change, and that's exactly what I got in 2017. Good, bad, or indifferent. He functions outside the established system, and he is the catalyst for change. And you either love him or you hate him, but he's changing the system. Yeah.
I believe he's an avatar.
God has a sense of humor, and I think he's playing the Trump card.
Yeah, the word Trump is in the Bible too. Isn't that funny?
Well,
almost like trumpet.
We were supposed to read his book, The Art of the Deal, in our class, and we were supposed to study Trump and know who he was. And this was like in 2004, 2000, something like that. So this was going to happen.
He didn't. Your teacher didn't want you to read the Barron Trump prophecies.
No.
I have that book. I have all three of them, actually. But I didn't read it because I didn't want to know I didn't want to ruin the story. I didn't want the story to be ruined. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I wanted to live it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, totally. So cool.
Hey, is it cool if I pull a card?
I was just gonna say, let's pull some cards. Does anyone want a reading? Or you want to pull a card for the collective?
I'll do one for the collective initially.
Okay.
So it's this deck.
Ooh. Whoa. What does it say? It's backwards.
Oh, okay. It is the Ravine Phelan Messenger Oracle deck.
Messenger Oracle.
Messenger Oracle deck.
Nice.
All right. Who wants to come out? Ooh. It's almost the full moon. We're talking about the divine feminine coming out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we got this card which says follow the moon. Got the moon there. It's got the divine feminine. And then what is in her hand?
I can't tell. What is it?
It's almost similar to what she had last week. Her
Oh,
Her
the
last
Qatar?
my Kapar?
Yeah.
Kapar.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
I'll read it. I think it's
Does
just a short
everybody
little
want to see what my Kapar looks like?
Yeah.
Maybe some people haven't seen it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to read this real quick.
Read it and I'll show them my Kapar.
It says, follow the moon. 3/4 of Gaia's surface is covered in water, and the moon's pull can lift the Earth's ocean at the equator and carry them along in her wake. 2/3 of the human body is also water, and therefore you are also subject to her power. As she waxes and wanes, so do you. Take note. Follow the moon cycles and take note of how you think and feel as her light increases and decreases. Take time to explore and understand her influence upon your body and your emotions.
Nice. Nice.
Good time for reflection.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. Definitely considering what we've been talking about, and we're in a full moon.
And you guys can't really see it, but because she's all in blue as well, which we know that's a good color.
Yeah.
Not
The
that there's
blue
bad colors.
lumbering people.
Huh?
The blue lumbering people?
The blue lumbering people?
Yeah. The Lemurians?
Oh, the Lemurian people.
Yeah, the blue
Yeah.
lumbering people.
Right.
And the Amazon women. They're blue.
I remember being an Amazonian.
Ah, cool.
I really enjoyed that life. I did.
Being 40 feet tall.
Being a warrior like that, huh?
Yeah, being 40 feet tall.
Yeah.
Don't you think a lot of the Valkyries went into a lifetime as an Amazon once they came down in physical?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being a Valkyrie too. Totally. Yeah, it's that warrior in us. Okay, so Christine, I think you came on first for a reading. Yes. Who wants to give Christine a reading first? Andy, you want to with your new cards?
Yeah, I'll pull a card for Christine.
Yeah, those are cool cards.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right, so we asked for the highest and best card to come forward for Christine.
Christine is in Corvallis at this point.
Ooh, a believer.
She is.
All right, this looks like a warrior, and it's all green.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, nice.
Lift it up a little bit. Oh, cool. What is that at the bottom?
Says protect the wild and green. Why do I have the sense that Christine has a green thumb? So let me read what this says.
But the beavers are orange.
Yeah. Sorry, taking a sec here. There we go. It says, protect the wild and green. You are a guardian of the earth and all who share in it. The trees, the animals, the birds, the insects, and the inhabitants of the ocean blue. It is time to play an active role in protecting and preserving the wild and the green by being aware of and limiting your impact on the natural world. This world is not yours to possess. It is a gift given to you and your children. Tread gently, tread with care, and walk with love. Remember your relationship with the world is a symbiotic one.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe a good time to get in nature as well. I know it's tough during the winter months, but feels like that's probably good advice for everybody to get in nature a little bit and spend some time meditating, because it's frankly easier to connect internally to your guides and your higher self and wisdom when you're in nature and it's quiet. So
yeah, I know I've been kind of hibernating because it's been a little cold. Been kind of cold. I don't like the cold. Okay, who's next? Diane, you want to go up next for Stephanie? Okay. Stephanie.
Okay, Stephanie. Okay, let's see here. Wow.
That sounds good.
So does your dog.
What?
So does your dog.
Oh, you hear her?
I can hear her sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. I gotta figure this one out here. This is an interesting one. Okay. Okay, this is a 12. It's called The Wounded Grail King.
Ooh.
This is from the King Arthur Knights of prophecy cards, the tarot cards. But if you notice, there is a Pendragon on the flag up above, and on the other side, it's a half moon. So to me, that's male and female combining each other. And then on the other side is the Grail Cup. And it looks like he's in a coffin, but this is an 8. So it's ad infinite. So it's going up and down and all around. And an 8 is a good one. But it's this one, and I actually have to read this because I've never ever pulled this card before. Why is the king wounded in the first place? This question takes us into deep mythos of the land. The medieval romances speak to dolorous blow by which Balin wounds King Pelles in the lance of the Longinus, thus causing the wasteland. But this is but one side of the story. We may cite Celtic kinship customs whereby a blemished or maimed king is forced to abdicate in favor of a more worthy candidate than the tribe. It is, to me, you're going to have to step back on something. Something is troubling you so bad that you're going to have to take a step back and retreat. That's what I'm feeling. And if you do that, you will be the winner. It's something that is really deep. It could be a struggle within you. It's a struggle within you, I think. And if you just let it be and take a step back and get out of yourself, I think you'll be okay, because it's an 8, which means it will move you forward, because there is male and female, and the grail is there. Do you understand what I'm saying, Stephanie? I mean, normally I don't ask that, but this is kind of a heavy thing. Mystically, we see that the guardianship of the Hallows, it is a formidable task which the king can only maintain if he cooperates with the other world, which means you have to rely on God. God is going to pull you through this. If you can believe in yourself, you will be able to do whatever is troubling you. Do you get anything, Sharon, out of that one? I mean, seriously, do you psychically?
I'm sorry, I wasn't tuning in, but let me see. What was the other card? Did you pull another card? Oh, okay.
No. She's confused. Okay. This is what I'm getting. Something is troubling you, and you have to go within. You have to get out of yourself and become the watcher with what you are doing. Whatever it is causing you a lot of trouble, but you are the king of your destiny.
Yeah.
And because you have the male and female coming here and the grail, which means if you do this, you will become the grail.
Without the card, sorry to interrupt you, Diane, but without the card, it sounds like, yeah, there's some decision or something you have to make that you're kind of confused on, and you just need some clarity. And going within, I believe, is what Diane is telling you. Just go within and find some clarity.
Yeah.
On a decision, some kind of decision you need to make, and that and don't worry about what anybody's telling you, or influencing, might want to influence you on that kind of thing. You might have some influences around you, and but to use your own intuition and go within, and don't worry about any influences. And that
my thought was, if you write this down on what is bothering you, you will figure it out. And the reason is because it's mind to the paper, to it's making your whole body work when you write it down. And then you're actually looking at it and you're realizing you have the answer. It's just that you are stuck somewhere.
So if you go within, you'll get the answer you need. And it's you just make sure that you use your own intuition. I mean, you can also ask for insights, but don't let anything influence you against your own intuition. Okay, you write poetry. Yeah, that's right. Stephanie, she gave me a really cool. She painted something for me. Really cool painting. She's amazing.
I think that's a great idea. You could write a poem. You could write a poem about
and your
what's
art
bothering
too. Use
you.
your art. Are you writing? I mean, are you painting? I have it up over there.
Yeah, that way you're getting out of yourself. You don't have to worry about it, because the answer will come to you as you're doing these things. It might take a few days, but it will be there.
Is that what you're getting, Andy? Something similar, or do you have any?
I think that resonates. I think the what is it, automatic writing, just getting yourself writing. If you're already a writer and you do poetry, get yourself writing and literally write the question you want, and then just the first thing that comes to you, start writing the answer. And a lot of times I always do it where I'm trying to be that wise, like, if you had to coach yourself through this, what would you tell somebody else, right? Be that wise, figure, and whatever the problem is, try not to. We get so emotionally attached to our issues and whatever the challenge is. And I think when you can't go into that observer role and see the big picture, what's going on, the pattern, and how to break it or how to change it, and then try to come back without loving like coach or loving wise elder who says it gives you the hard advice in the nice and kind way. And a lot of times I'll do that when I'm in nature working through my stuff. So yeah, I think it resonated.
Good. Yeah. So
I think when I originally started reading about it, it was because there was a fight going on.
right. So she gets it. She's got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got it. Stephanie's.
I think you'll
Yeah,
be
she'll
okay.
be fine. She'll be fine. Okay. I think Ziftar is next. Ziftar, are you still here?
He is.
We are all rooting for you, Stephanie. That's right. We are. She's got it.
And so it is.
And so it is. So be it. So it is. All right. Ziftar, I'm going to go ahead and use the Lyran Oracle, of course,
Yes.
because I love this deck so much. You're welcome, Stephanie. All right. Ask the Lyrans to please bring a message to Ziftar. All right. Cellular upgrade. Number 8.
Wow. Awesome.
Isn't that cool? So,
Cool.
look at that. I love these colors.
Wow, I love the top.
Yeah.
Color.
Wow.
Yeah.
Through there. Looks to me like a
That's that
grail.
golden yellow.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
And we got
fine
the
print,
8 for infinity.
and 8 for infinity. That's right. Listen, step back, learn from your surroundings. All right, let's see how the Lyrans expand on that. As humans continue to explore the depths of their genetics and DNA strands, the story will soon begin to reveal in your awareness that you and your fellow species have been designed with galactic genetics, just what we were talking about. This information may shock many since there is so much false programming in your education system, but rests as a foundational truth of whom you truly are. In particular, your genetics are coded with a light frequency that begins to activate when the human vibrates at a specific frequency. This rapid vibration bursts through trauma and slave programming, allowing for the full potential of your DNA to be revealed that simultaneously unveils your greater star origins. You have now arrived at this junction. And with this opening arrives rivers of new information to reveal the whom you really are. You will soon discover that you are built of intergalactic DNA, seeded through the star councils and sent into this Earth school to become the living embodiment of a race where multiple star races live together in co-creative harmony. This is why your Earth school is so intentionally diverse, especially from the human level. For your species was seeded with many galactic races to understand how different races can coexist together in harmony. This can serve for a bumpy ride, as many of you have experienced, but the potential from this journey is universal peace, ushering in a time of intergalactic oneness throughout all the universe. Through this, know how powerful your life truly is, dear one. Each interaction you have with another human can serve as you meeting another galactic species. These encounters upload information into the alive field for how specific races interact with one another and teach future intergalactic societies how to coexist. Just like what we're doing here, right? As the cosmos is never separate from Mother Earth, so too have always been intergalactic in nature. Begin to activate this universal awareness by finding common ground with individuals in your life. This openness takes us away from reaction, guides us into compassion. Additional meanings. You will find great wisdom by sitting back and listening at this time. Allow the masters in disguise to speak, for they are everywhere. Higher awareness, compassion.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Just what we were talking about earlier.
Connecting the dots for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Okay. No, we won't forget about you, Nicole, the Divine Oracle, LLC. She's going to be a part of the Academy. We're bringing her on to the Academy. I can't wait. Okay. Andy, you're up next if you'd like.
You want me to pull
Bring her
another
up
card?
here. Yeah, for Nicole.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Oh yeah, no, happy to.
Okay.
With your new messenger deck.
And I think that's it for tonight.
All right. So this is probably a good one for everybody and very synchronistic as well. I've been seeing ladybugs.
Oh.
So it says surrender with the flow. And it looks like it's a little ladybug sitting on the leaf that's gently blowing in the wind. So
Nice.
let's see what this has to say. All right. Surrender to the flow. Through choice and action, you can steer the course of your life. But sometimes a need to control every outcome can have you caught up in a whirlpool instead of moving forward. You may move in the direction of your choosing, but it may not be the direction in which you need to journey. Loosen your grip, surrender yourself to the flow, and trust that you will find yourself exactly where you need to be.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
Well, I was reading that. Somebody's touching my third eye. So I think maybe I needed to hear that. Not that I'm a control freak, but I'm certainly like, hey, I'm a master manifestor. How come I can't make it happen the way I want? And then sometimes my guys are like, no, you actually need to experience this, remember?
And look what I started to call you Divine. Nicole the Divine. Oracle LLCs. Look what she said. I have 7 ladybugs in my house.
That's awesome. It was meant for you.
Yeah, totally. I love that. Ziptar says, thanks, Sharon Resonates. I'm ready for all of us to move forward. Let's get this party going. I agree. Yes.
We can all meet up on the holiday, the ship tonight, right? And
Yeah, totally.
10-4.
Let's make that an intention now.
Drinks on me.
All right.
Or maybe beds, whatever we need, to each their own.
I do remember drinks on the ship, on a mothership, one of those big space station ships, and it was blue and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And do you remember those?
Well, you talked last time and said you remember, sitting down with a group of people and everyone saying what they did. And you're like, oh, I'm in the military. Or what, like I have times where I remember being there in like a white jumpsuit, a blue jumpsuit, and all of us kind of like it was our relaxed time, hangout time.
Yeah, like a forward.
And everyone, yeah, exactly. So let's meet up there tonight.
Yeah, totally. I remember seeing lots of extraterrestrials, different beings other than humans there too.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So I just pulled this for us just now. It's cosmic
The
Cosmic
Saints.
Family, number 13, which is 4. Cosmic Family.
Divine Feminine.
Yeah. Support socialized community. That was random.
Beautiful.
Like Star Trek, yes. You want a blue and fuzzy drink. See, I think that Star Trek was I'm a lightweight, so just a root beer. Here, please.
I don't even do root beer.
I think Star Trek was, I mean, we kind of know that it was channel material, but their shows seem to know what they, I wonder if they took them on the ships or something.
Well, here's what's interesting. My ex-husband used to watch it all the time with the kids, and I knew exactly what they were going to say, and that absolutely drove him insane. He says, "How do you know?" I said, "Because I know." That's how crazy this
You
show
talking about
is.
the first one or Picard?
No, all of them that were on TV. I could spout the whole thing, and he hated. He's told me to never come in the room again while they're watching because I
Spoiler
knew.
alert.
I know, right? See you on the moon.
It was like and I was really young at the time. You know, I was in my early 20s, so I must have been on spaceships then and didn't even know it. If I'm telling him exactly what they're going to say, oh God, he was mad. How do you know?
Yeah, Gene Roddenberry, definitely. He was, I think that what I heard, Ziptar, was that Gene Roddenberry actually, he and some others sat down with a channeler and she gave him that information for Star Trek.
Well, wasn't he like a police sergeant or something?
Mm-hmm.
And he got called out because there was a group that was doing like channeling, and people were like, "Hey, what's going on with this group?" And then he got there and sat down and listened, and he was like, "Whoa, this is really interesting." And he had like a whole activation event where he just by listening. That's what I heard, kind of the same version of that.
Yeah, yeah, and so he got. Sorry, my dog's coughing. Yeah, she's.
Well, it's kind of like Star Wars. I mean, Joseph Campbell lived with when that was being written, and Joseph Campbell did ascend. He didn't ascend fully. He only ascend a spiritual ascension because his body was racked with cancer from smoking. So he will have to be a walk-in to come back and get a full ascension if he wants to. But the thing is that that's how Star Wars came about, was through him.
Mm. Huh. I heard that Joseph Campbell was one of the archangels appeared to him, and that's how he was able to, or he started the Mormon religion.
Joseph Campbell? You're thinking of Joseph
Oh, I'm sorry.
Smith.
Who's Joseph Campbell? Who's Joseph Campbell?
He's a guy who helped with the Star Wars. Joseph Campbell was a myth writer. He wrote tons of books.
I don't know.
He was on PBS. He was on PBS. He had his own show.
And he is. You're saying he ascended?
Spiritually ascended.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
He tried to take his body, but they told him, if you want to ascend, you can't take your body because it's racked with cancer and you will not ascend. That is your choice.
I've heard of Tom Campbell. He wrote
I don't know who that is.
My Big Toe. He's an out-of-body experiencer. Pretty famous.
Oh, I know Campbell Soup.
Thomas Campbell was a Scottish poet.
Oh.
A Scottish poet. Is that who you're talking about? Okay.
No. Joseph Campbell.
Oh, Joseph Campbell. I put Thomas. Okay, Joseph. It's tired. It's
Yeah,
late.
he lived at Skywalker Ranch.
Oh, American mythologist,
Until he
writer, and
died.
lecturer. Okay.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it is that after he died, Star Wars just kind of just died too. And then it, he sold
he wrote
it
The
to
Hero's Journey, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. Did he write The Hero's Journey?
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
Hero? Okay.
Yeah, Joseph
Okay.
Campbell was
Now I know who that is.
unbelievable.
All right.
Yeah.
You said Campbell, and automatically I hear the song Like a Rhinestone Cowboy. Glenn Campbell. Yeah. What about South Park? They say something and things happen. Same thing with The Simpsons. I know, right? Yeah. The Simpsons too. They have a show, and then we have life that imitates Simpson.
Well, yeah. I mean, who's the guy that they kill off in South Park and he never dies?
Kenny.
Kenny. Yeah.
Yeah. Kenny.
What about Big Balls?
Big Balls. Oh yeah.
Watching
Big Balls.
CNN and MSNBC and The View like complain about it and like have to say big balls. It is like they have to be busting up on the ship. They're like, these idiots. Oh my God.
And then Elon Musk tweets on X.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Did you see?
He goes, hairy balls. Elon Musk.
Did you see the? I think Alex Jones made. As soon as I heard that big balls, I said, "Oh, somebody's going to come out with the AC/DC song." Mark my words. And the next morning, Alex Jones had big balls. AC/DC song and showing clips of big balls. Showing.
Well, how about
showing? Trump, Alex Jones, Elon, and a bunch of people from the cabinet. But there was wait, let me finish. There's a little clip of South Park in there where they're bouncing on these huge balls. The bouncy things like kids bounce on.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
Oh my gosh,
so funny.
Yep.
You guys send it to
the
you.
left is going crazy. They don't know what to do,
It's fun to watch it unravel.
It is fun to watch it unravel, definitely. Yeah.
Well, let me ask a question.
That's a good way to end the show.
Okay.
What were you going to say, Andy? You were going to say something though?
Well, I was just curious, like, why do you think the writers of Simpsons and South Park and these type of shows are putting out these like hypothetical realities that then some of them are coming true? Do you think that because those writers are connected and this is somehow a disclosure or a Mandela effect type of thing? Or do you think like it's the co-creative thing where like 25 million people watched that episode and now it's in the consciousness of 25 million people and we're all co-creators, and so it made it more likely to happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they
or are they just connected and they're disclosing stuff. They know what's going to happen.
I think they tap into their higher self when
I
do,
don't. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think they tap into their higher selves.
Well, how old is this kid? Big Balls he's like 19, right, or 20? He has made them go crazy.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
he has a great future.
They're plugged in. Ziftar says, "Yeah." I think they know the plan.
Yeah,
I do. I think this is all a plan. I don't think anything's new.
Yeah,
I really don't. I don't think any of it's new. We've done this before, and this time we're doing it right.
We're learning from our past mistakes. Yeah. This has been a hard level, but it's going to be so glorious as we ascend
That's right.
through it.
Yeah, as we get through this level, we're finally getting through this level. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm
We're
picking up
winning.
all the gold coins on the way. I know, right? We did it.
Go team, go team.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, the Eagles won.
Golden age, big balls, big balls.
Well, in order to be a Trump supporter the last 8 years or whatever, 4 years especially, you got to have big balls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Level
Awesome.
43,576. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So it feels like, for sure. All right, peeps. Thank you. It's been a fun night.
Hey, do your manifestations tonight. The full moon, Leo energy, very powerful. Great time to manifest and anchor in the divine. Thank you,
Yes,
Sharon.
totally. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. And
Yeah.
Nicole says, thank you for the
Diane.
aching belly laughs. Yeah. Totally. Yes. All right, everyone. Have a good night, and we'll see you again soon. Yeah. Oh, I'm having a show on Valentine's
Ciao.
Day for anyone who doesn't have plans. We're going to do some love stuff.
Awesome.